Now, as you remember, in the main event, I did at one point say Stipe by decision. It was a goof kind of thing.
Right.
I didn't see it going that way.
So far, that's what I love about the game, though. You don't see shit like that. You don't see it.
But I almost called. But I also have to be truthful about this. 262, 246. A part of me went, Ngannou's going to knock him out in the first round because of the weight.
Right.
He was so much heavier. And I'm like, Stipe's tough, but I mean, that's a 16-pound difference. A huge, but amazing game plan by Stipe.
First of all,
Flawless.
This is one of those fights where you're yelling, man. You're jumping. I had a blast, man.
Have you ever seen a more tired fighter than Ngannou? I've never seen a guy more blatantly tired.
I don't know. Go back to the Kimbo Slice versus Houston Alexander where they're holding their knees. And,
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, there's times where guys got really. Mark Coleman's gotten tired in his past, but before Pete Williams kicked him in the face, but. He was exhausted, man. But I loved it, man. I loved what a monster movie, man. Like he had to survive that first round where you're like, any second one of these big paws lands.
He got tagged a couple times, but Stipe could take a punch too.
Stipe could take
the shots,
but then he was throwing back. But then he did it after he made him, get all that blood pumping into his muscles, trying to fight Stipe off, which he took away a little bit. But then once he got his ass down. We see, then it's fucking danger, Will Robinson. I'll tell you right now.
I think he also got his attention. I want to say there's a combination, but he landed on Ngannou towards the end of the first round. I think it was the end of the first round. He hurt him, and I don't think Ngannou's been really tagged like that yet.
No.
I don't think he's fought a guy who punches as fast or as hard as Stipe.
But you think about the different wrestling techniques he used. I mean, it was really awesome, man. At one point he did like a knee pick. Another point he ran him from one side of the cage. They're going to go through the fucking cage.
Yeah.
And Dominic Cruz said, look how he didn't go to his knees. He stayed on his feet when he ran him. The correct way to do it. He ran that motherfucker down up into the cage and then kept control of his feet, took him down. And again, like I was saying, he has that control. He kept up against the cage. He kept switching on the neck into like a quarter Nelson to make sure. He was trying to prop himself up, but he couldn't lift his head up because Stipe
put so much weight on him.
He knows how to distribute. It's not about even being heavy. He knows how to distribute his weight. So he's keeping it in all the right places where Francis is just he's carrying all that weight while he's exhausted. It was awesome to watch.
It was like watching the air
it.
come out of a tire slow, like he was absolutely draining him. Were there times where Herb Dean let them stay in the position without moving? Even though they were doing something, there were times where they were in that position for quite a while. I'm surprised Herb didn't stand them up at all.
Every time Herb said something, though, you notice he goes, need a little action, and then Stipe would throw a couple. But he was he really paced himself brilliantly.
Yeah, it was brilliant fight by Stipe.
But now this, it was a masterful performance. I thought it was just so great, and it's why you watch the fights. And I just loved seeing him beat him by not just going in there like a rock'em sock'em robot. You know what I mean? Taking his chances with it. That's why, like, oh man, he got caught with a little bit with Overeem and this one and that one. He was smart. He was tough. He wasn't just a brute. He was a brute when he had to be. Yeah. He landed his own punches. And to Francis's credit, he did hang in there.
And he went all 5 rounds. I mean, he was exhausted, and he was helpless on the ground. And I think that Stipe was probably anybody else. I think Stipe would have tried to knock him out. But I think with Ngannou, he throws so hard that even tired, that if he lands, he can put you out with one shot. Just keep doing this.
Oh, for sure. And if you have that technique advantage that Stipe had over him on the ground,
and it was such a
don't
clear
screw
advantage.
around because Ngannou's so strong, even exhausted, he could just muscle his way out of that.
And at one point, I think up against the cage, Stipe looked a little alarmed in the beginning of the first round. His face, I think he had the same thing Overeem did, where he realized this guy is fucking strong.
Yeah.
And against the cage, it's hard to control him. But Stipe was able to somehow turn him around against the cage early, whereas Overeem was not.
Right. Did you guys... Did you hear what Derek Lewis?
Right.
Derek Lewis is hilarious.
He's trolling Francis on Twitter with a video following the Predators' loss in a mock African accent, and he says, "Seems like someone else been bullshitting. Yes, my brother, that is a treadmill behind me. What the?"
He took like a selfie video of himself with a treadmill behind him, being like,
yeah.
maybe get on the treadmill.
Get some cardio up, yeah. But he could. I respect.
Imagine that fight.
Why not? That could be next. Sure.
I
Right?
respected Ngannou's honesty after. He said,
Yep.
I underestimated my opponent. And I'm like, first of all, that to me is his coaches, I think, maybe should have said, do not underestimate this guy because of the people he's fought and beat already. Because now you look at like a guy like Verdum. Take a guy like Verdum against Francis.
I want to talk about that.
Verdum would go and throw a kick out of the middle of nowhere. He'd throw a wild kick and literally would shoot for a takedown immediately. And I absolutely think Verdum could put Francis on the ground. And if he did, I think that he would tap him.
Can I tell you something right now? He doesn't have to put him on the ground. Francis could put him on the ground. I thought you were going to say exactly what I was going to say
What?
with this. Well, you said he could do a kick and then go for a takedown. He could jump across the cage, run across, do that flying kick in his face.
Yep.
If Francis ends up they fall to the floor, he ends up mounted. He has a second to land a strike to put Verdum away. Verdum could submit him within 20 seconds on the floor.
I agree.
He will, and I'm talking about from any position. He could jump to a closed guard, and all these big, long limbs, he will manipulate his balance and take him in an arm lock.
You think Verdum could
quicker
submit
than
Francis?
you could say fucking Pete Burns?
You think he could submit him quickly?
Yes, I do. I think there's a lot. Let me tell you. I'm going to tell you what I would do with Francis if I was helping him out, and his trainer should write this shit down. But this is the problem. When he got taken down, he showed signs of pushing the head away, lifting up on the with his overhook. As far as takedown defense, there was some, and he's strong as
strong.
Okay, I'm trying to clean my act up.
That's good.
But the second he gets on this floor, from the waist down, dead.
Strong doesn't really matter. Being stronger when you're fighting Stipe or especially a guy like Verdum doesn't matter if
On
he's
the,
stronger
on the
than him.
floor means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And it's actually gonna see the difference is if Verdum ends up on the floor with him, no matter where he ends up, Francis is at a disadvantage. Unless again he lands a super hard punch fast. But the odds are a limb's getting taken or he's getting swept. He's gonna get if Verdum ends up on top of him, he's not gonna work. He could work from side control, but he would mount him. And he would take an arm.
Do you think Verdum can mount him?
Wow. It's funny. I'm watching, and I'm watching for the stuff that for Stipe to use. But then, then I remember, look, Stipe's rolled at my place before, and he's good.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to mount him and get a head and arm choke because he's got like an arm
Sure.
triangle. He's got that good. Stipe's good on top.
Yeah.
But he chose to control him, and again, controlling cross. It's not dumb. It's smart. I mean, look, it finished the fight for DC, but you're dealing with that's because he's a former wrestler, and when he transitions that to MMA, they do not have that same. When you're used to mounting people from white belt to black belt to 10 years and longer, you get a sensitivity with your mount where it's like riding a bull. If you're not used to that and you're a wrestler and you got a mount and you keep your legs stiff, guys can push you off a lot easier, and they can't keep that. That's why you see these guys working from cross-side. But for Doom, what? He will mount him and he'll just set up camp, drink some espresso, have a little coconut milk. He don't give a fuck. He'll just set up camp there.
Yeah,
he'll beat him up, and he'll take a limb and he'll make it look easy. So I'm sorry, Jimmy.
No, please, go ahead.
Well, this is the thing. This is what I would do before he does anything. We're warming up. We're cooling down. We're getting another big gentleman. He's mounted on you, and we're not going live. This is what we're doing, Francis. You're laying down. He's gonna be mounted on you, and he's locking his legs underneath your ass. So I have to say I'm mounted on you. I lock my legs under your butt, and I widen my knees so my pelvis is glued to you.
Right.
Okay? So now for me on bottom, which would be Francis, you don't turn on your side to try to address this. We're exposing the back. You're flat as a board. Your elbows are in. And you're straightening your legs. So now you feel, okay, which leg's on top? Oh, that leg's on top, his right leg. So I use my left leg to untangle it, and I get a leg to the floor. Now I hip on my side, and I use my feet like I have another pair of hands, and I do knee to elbow. Hip out the other way, knee to elbow. It's called the elbow escape. Why are you smiling?
Because I'm
Do I
just
look
thinking.
crazy?
No,
Is that
I'm
my
just
making
thinking of
sense?
how helpless I would be in that
Yes,
situation.
but then you get to guard. And then,
Right.
this is what we're going to do, Francis. The guy's pinning you down by the biceps. You're going to have your foot on the floor. You're going to lift the weight with your right foot, left shoulder. Now your butt's light. Now you're out on your side. Now you're going to lift him forward to lighten the load. Your shin's you can do a basic scissor sweep. You're going to mount. You're going to maintain mount. Your partner's going to do that back to you. We're going to do a flow drill up and down the mat. 5 minutes of this, we're doing the same exact thing. We're escaping the mount the same way. It's going to be muscle memory. His feet, his legs will be like another pair of hands and arms.
So when that happens to you, you don't even think about it. You just your arm,
it'll
your
be
legs just do it.
muscle memory, but you got to do this shit yesterday, Francis.
Yeah.
You can't wait. It's not about showing this guy a move. You need this muscle memory. He's got to be doing that shit a fucking half an hour a day, warming up with it for 15 minutes. And you can switch it up. You can make it fun. I do this to all my guys still. It doesn't get... It's never going to be dated because this is how you escape. You make sure guys who are good on bottom, they got that hip movement. Francis, no hip movement whatsoever. So he's going to have to work this. Then next time you get the guard with the same thing. Okay, now we try to go up one way. The guy puts you flat. You got your arms above your head. You go the other way. You're doing up and over a sweep. Well, you like that? I like jiu-jitsu.
No,
I'm doing shadow jiu-jitsu.
You're so good at describing you're so good at describing it.
But he will get up and he will do now. He'll get his hand behind him. He'll bridge up and he'll do an up and over sweep and he's mounted. He'll get the sweeps in. And you can have fun with this. You could do an elbow escape. The guy grabs your neck. Boom, you take an arm lock. You go back to guard. Then you do a sweep. He'll get this over and over and drill it. And he'll be escaping this. When his butt hits the floor, he'll be doing automatically the right shit without even thinking about it.
Now, let's say Stipe was on top and he tried the old trick of,
no, you don't gotta. No, listen. It's just my listen. I've been in the game a long time.
No.
Jimmy, you didn't have to hit the applause.
They're applauding my question.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. All right.
If Stipe was on top and he did the old trick of giving him the illusion of space just so he gives up his back, giving up, do you think Francis would have fallen for that?
Yes. Or give him an underhook and give him the illusion of coming up, and then you do a sit through fucking Kimura. I mean, there's stuff where there's ways to set traps where he's definitely not sophisticated.
Yeah.
Can I say I was gonna say the word right, and you had the sophisticated.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Very good.
No, listen, I got a word right. You don't got to hit that for every two.
No, that's true, but it did take you twice.
All
right.
That hurts me. But so listen, Jimmy. So, I mean, what was the question?
You answered it already about Stipe being on top and giving the illusion of space. What do you fall for? Probably.
But again, I can't criticize this guy at all. I am so impressed.
Stipe was incredible.
Stipe, and man, what I can't get. I'll watch that. That fight was a lot of fun, man.
But Ngannou admitted that, he goes 4 years in. I saw the stuff I hadn't seen. He was, again, to fight a guy who's been in the game as long as Stipe and who's champion for a reason. 4 years in, when you only have a few, he's improved in a lot of areas. But again, you can't get 8 years of wrestling or jujitsu in 4 years while you're training boxing. So it was very, very impressive. I was impressed that Francis did last through the entire fight. He didn't quit. But he was so fucking tired.
Well, now, my question is this. All right, we just talked about Verdum and him. That's interesting. What about Cain Velasquez?
I was just thinking Cain, too. Cain put him up against the cage.
How about that being his dad? He better avoid that fucking thing.
Yeah, but Cain better avoid getting hit, too, because if Junior can put him out with a shot in the head, then Francis can knock him out, too.
That happened in one fight.
You're right.
How many?
And in Mexico, high altitude. I understand all that.
Well, Cain and Stipe, I mean, that's...
Oh, wait, it was Verdum in Mexico. I'm sorry.
That was Verdum in Mexico against Cain. But Cain and Stipe, I mean, what happens in that fight?
That's some great... That is amazing.
Yeah.
But Francis, when you look at it, you're right. I did think of Cain and his speed and his absolute sickening cardio. Francis, in Verdum taking him down. Yeah. Again, Derek Lewis is a slugger. He's a slugger.
And, you've seen guys who are not as good try to get it to the floor and him survive some shit.
Yeah.
But we're talking about, this is what they should do with Francis. I'll tell you right, him versus the Black Beast is a fucking monster movie. That one would be fantastic.
I take Francis.
That would be fight. But that would be more of his type of fight because I can't see Derek Lewis going for a takedown on him.
Yeah, or Ngannou against Lesnar.
That'd be awesome, no?
Ngannou Lesnar. I mean, again, if Ngannou gets a hold of him, Lesnar's dead. But Mark Hunt also can knock you out with one punch, and he couldn't do it against Brock. It's just too good at taking you down.
Well, Brock would just take him down.
No, Brock, I see that a good fight. That's a good fight for Brock too.
Yeah. Again, if he gets him down.
Yeah.
If he gets hit coming in.
The thing is this. I mean, and listen, Stipe did have to go for a few things and just weather some stuff, but he did give the blueprint of, look, man, don't just grapple this guy in the beginning, man. Just put everything into that, and then you can go back to the striking. I love the way he mixed it up, though.
Yeah,
it's not like oh man, is he just gonna be looking to hang on his legs But no, man, he would do it to the right point where then he'd let it go, and then he'd strike, and he'd clinch, and he'd push him against the cage, and